Beyond the headlines, beyond the politics, and far away from the noise of modern cities, there is another Iran the world rarely sees. Hidden among volcanic mountains, red earth villages, desert ruins, stepped rooftops, rose gardens, and ancient underground water channels, rural Iran holds stories older than memory itself. Here, families still live inside stone homes carved by hand. Villages climb mountains like stairways. Desert towns survive through shade, silence, and water flowing beneath the ground. This is not just a journey through beautiful places. It is a journey into a way of life shaped by nature, hardship, tradition, and time. In Iran, the secret village life of rural Iran, we will travel through some of the country's most fascinating, impossible places, where mountains become homes, rooftops become streets, flowers become survival, and hidden rivers keep ancient communities alive. For most Americans, Iran is often shown through politics, headlines, and conflict. But hidden deep within the mountains of rural Iran, there's another side of the country that almost never makes the news: a quiet village, where families still live, inside homes carved directly into volcanic rock. Today, we're traveling into one of the most fascinating rural communities in the world. Kandovan, Iran. At first glance, Kandovan looks almost unreal. Giant stone cones rise from the mountainside like something from a fantasy movie. But these are not ancient ruins. People actually live here. Children play in the narrow pathways, laundry hangs outside cave windows, and shepherds still walk through the village with flocks of sheep. What makes this place incredible is that many of these cave homes are more than 700 years old, and some researchers believe humans may have used these volcanic formations for thousands of years. The homes were carved into soft volcanic rock formed by eruptions from Mount Seyhan long ago. Over time, wind and rain shaped the stone into giant cone-like towers, and villagers slowly turned them into homes. And honestly, this is where I think rural Iran becomes deeply misunderstood by the outside world. Because when you watch the daily life here, you realize something powerful. People everywhere want the same basic things: family, safety, tradition, and connection to home. The villagers of Kandovan are not trying to impress the world with luxury or technology, yet their lifestyle may actually teach modern societies something important about sustainability and simplicity. These stone homes naturally stay cool during hot summers and warm during freezing winters without modern air conditioning or central heating. In a world obsessed with bigger cities and faster lifestyles, this village quietly survives, using architecture designed by nature itself. Tourism has slowly arrived here, but Kandovan still feels authentic. Unlike many famous tourist destinations that turned into commercial attractions, families here continue living traditional mountain lives. Visitors often describe the experience as peaceful, surreal, and strangely emotional, like stepping into another century while still feeling completely alive. And maybe that's the biggest lesson from rural Iran. Sometimes, the most extraordinary places on Earth are not the loudest or richest. They're the quiet places where history, nature, and human resilience continue to exist together, almost unchanged by time. Kandovan is more than a village. It's a reminder that beyond politics and stereotypes, there are human stories waiting to be understood. Don't take your eyes off the screen, because in the next part of this journey, I'm going to take you to explore other villages that are just as fascinating. Masule Jilan Province. Do you think a village must have streets, sidewalks, and roads to survive? In Masule, that idea disappears the moment you see the mountain. Hidden in the green highlands of Gilan province, Masule rises along a steep slope where the forest seems to swallow the village from every direction. The houses are not arranged beside the mountain, they are stacked into it. One family's rooftop becomes another family's street. A path to the market may pass directly across the ceiling of someone else's home. From the valley below, the village looks less like a settlement and more like a living staircase built into the hillside. Yellow clay houses climb tier by tier toward the trees, while mist from the Caspian forests drifts through the alleys. In autumn, the fog can remain for days, wrapping the entire village in a silence that feels older than memory. This is one of Iran's most remarkable impossible places. Not because it defies nature, but because it accepted nature completely. The slope was never flattened. The mountain was never conquered. Instead, the village learned to become part of it. Daily life here moves vertically. Women hang laundry above narrow passages. Children run across rooftops as if they were open courtyards. Elderly men sit by wooden doors, watching clouds pass through the same lanes their grandparents once walked. There are no cars inside the historic core. The village was built for feet, voices, animals, smoke, and time. In the kitchens, the smell of slow-cooked herb soup rises into the damp mountain air. Stone walls absorb warmth from the hearth, then release it slowly through the cold evening. Local language, food, architecture, and weather all exist in the same rhythm. Masule reminds us that the secret village life of rural Iran is not about isolation alone. It is about intelligence, shaped by terrain. In a world obsessed with straight roads and flat surfaces, Masule still proves that a community can survive for centuries by climbing with the mountain instead of cutting through it. Maymand Kerman province. What if a village was not built on the land, but carved directly into it? In the rocky landscape of Kerman province, Maymand appears at first like a silent cliff. But inside that stone wall, families have lived, cooked, slept, stored food, and told stories for thousands of years. This is not a ruin pretending to be alive. It is one of Iran's most extraordinary rock-cut settlements, a place where domestic life has been shaped by the cave itself. Chambers are carved horizontally into the cliff, forming homes known as quiches. Some extend deep into the rock, with sleeping platforms, storage niches, cooking spaces, and small openings that control light, smoke, and air. The genius of Maymand is its simplicity. In summer, the cave rooms remain cool. In winter, the same stone holds warmth from the hearth. The walls are not decoration. They are insulation, memory, and protection. Every blackened ceiling carries the smoke of meals cooked across generations. Every smooth stone ledge has been shaped by hands, blankets, pots, and daily movement. Maymand feels like one of those impossible places where time does not move forward in a straight line. it seeps into the rock. A grandmother may still know which chamber stays warmest after sunset, which niche holds grain, and which passage catches the safest air. This is not knowledge written in books. It is knowledge held in bodies. The food of Maymand reflects the harshness of the surrounding land. Wild pistachios, flatbread, dried herbs, and slow soups are not romantic details. They are survival technologies. Meals are designed for duration, for winter, for scarcity, for a world where nothing should be wasted. Maymand reminds us that shelter does not always need to rise upward. Sometimes, the safest home is the one carved inward, where the mountain becomes the wall, the roof, and the memory of everyone who chose to remain. Abyaneh near Kashan. At first glance, Abyaneh looks as if the mountain itself has turned into a village. Located near Kashan, on the slopes of the Kharanagh Mountains, Abyaneh is famous for its red earth buildings. The village is built from local clay, rich in iron oxide, giving the walls a deep, reddish color that blends almost perfectly with the surrounding rock. From a distance, it can be difficult to tell where the mountain ends and the village begins. But the most remarkable thing is not only the color, it is the material intelligence behind it. The local clay hardens when exposed to moisture, meaning that rain does not simply damage the walls. In some ways, it strengthens them. For centuries, the people of Abyaneh used what the land offered, not because it was convenient, but because it behaved correctly under pressure. This is one of Iran's quiet, impossible places. It does not shout with scale, it endures through detail. Inside the village, narrow alleys pass between mud brick homes, wooden balconies, and old doors fitted with traditional knockers. In many older houses, 2 knockers were used, one producing a heavier sound for male visitors, the other a lighter sound for female visitors. Even the act of knocking once carried social meaning. The women of Abyaneh are instantly recognizable by their white scarves printed with red flowers and layered skirts. These are not costumes for tourists. They are part of daily identity, worn in ordinary life, in the market, on the steps, and through the lanes. On rooftops during warm months, fruit is laid out to dry in the mountain sun. Apricots, grapes, figs, and pomegranate seeds. Seen from above, the village becomes a patchwork of red walls, amber fruit, and white floral scarves moving slowly through the alleys. Abyaneh reminds us that rural life is not always measured by what changes, but by what refuses to disappear. Here, color, climate, clothing, architecture, and memory still speak the same language. When you get the chance to visit this village, walk slowly through Abyaneh's red earth alleys, admire its old houses, take in the traditional clothing, and enjoy the full view of the village from the opposite hillside. Uramanat, Kurdistan Province. Deep in the mountains of Kurdistan Province, Uramanat rises from the canyon wall like a stone throne. The village is built in stepped layers, with houses arranged so tightly along the slope that the entire settlement seems carved into the mountain itself. From below, it looks like a ceremonial amphitheater of stone, wood, smoke, and sky. Here, the terrain does not allow easy life. Paths are steep, stairways are narrow. Vehicles cannot reach many parts of the old village. Firewood, food, water, and daily supplies move by hand, by back, by habit, and by generations of muscle memory. The houses are built with dry stacked stone and wooden beams, designed not to dominate the mountain, but to move with it. This is rural architecture created by people who understood that rigidity can be dangerous in unstable terrain. Flexibility is survival. Uramanat is one of Iran's most powerful, impossible places because it turns hardship into ceremony. Ordinary village life here already feels ancient, but during the Pir Shaliar festival, the entire settlement transforms into a living ritual. Drums echo between stone walls. Families gather on terraces. Food is prepared in large communal pots, and the line between meal, memory, and ceremony almost disappears. Walnuts from the Uraman Valley carry a distinct bitterness that becomes rich and deep through slow cooking. Lamb, herbs, and mountain ingredients are prepared not just to feed one household, but to gather the entire community. In a place like this, food is not private. It is social architecture. The surrounding landscape is equally dramatic. The village looks out over cliffs, valleys, and mountain lines that seem to continue without end. Voices carry strangely in the canyon. A song sung in one place can return from the opposite wall slightly changed, as if the mountain itself has answered. Uramanat proves that some communities did not wait for easy geography. They built where the land was difficult, then turned difficulty into identity. Kharanagh near Yazd. In the desert north of Yazd, there is a village that looks as if it is slowly returning to dust. This is Kharanagh, a mud-brick settlement surrounded by mountains, dry valleys, and the silence of central Iran. The old village is famous for its crumbling earthen houses, narrow passages, caravanserai, and shaking minaret. Every structure seems to be made from the same earth that surrounds it. Walking through Kharanagh feels like entering a settlement suspended between life and abandonment. Walls lean, roofs collapse. Arched corridors open into empty rooms. Some houses look as if the last family left only yesterday, while others have already become part of the desert floor. But Kharanagh is not simply a ghost village. It is a record of how people once negotiated with water, heat, trade, and distance. Its caravanserai reminds us that this was once a stopping point for travelers and merchants crossing difficult terrain. In a land where movement depended on shade, water, and protection, a village like Kharanagh was not remote. It was necessary. The shaking minaret gives the village one of its strangest features. Built from earthen materials, it can move slightly when pushed, turning architecture into a kind of controlled vibration. In another place, such a structure might feel like a curiosity. Here, surrounded by cracked mud brick and desert wind, it feels like a metaphor for Kharanagh itself, fragile, but not yet fallen. This is one of the most haunting, impossible places in rural Iran. It survives not through full restoration, but through partial disappearance. Its beauty comes from exposure. Sunlight enters broken rooms. Wind moves through abandoned alleys. Shadows stretch across walls that once held families, animals, tools, grain, and winter stories. Kharanagh reminds us that village life is not only what continues, it is also what remains after people leave, the shape of a society still visible in clay, silence, and dust. When visiting Kharanagh near Yazd, bring water, a sun hat, sunglasses, sturdy walking shoes, sunscreen, a light scarf, and a fully charged phone or camera. Because the old village is sunny, dry, dusty, and full of uneven mud brick paths. Naen, Isfahan province. At the edge of Iran's central desert, Naen appears in pale tones of mud brick, stone, wind towers, underground water channels, and quiet courtyards. This is not a village of dramatic cliffs or red mountains. Its power is more restrained. Naen belongs to the desert tradition of survival through shade, geometry, and water discipline. The historic town is known for one of Iran's early Friday mosques. With austere architecture and cool underground spaces that seem designed as much for climate as for prayer. But beyond monuments, Naen's rural soul lies in the way people adapted to a landscape where heat and dryness shape every decision. In Naen, walls are thick, alleys are narrow, and courtyards are inward-facing. Beauty is rarely displayed on the outside. Like many desert settlements in Iran, the architecture protects life by hiding it from the sun. From the street, a house may seem plain. Inside, there may be shade, patterned plaster, a small garden, a pool, and a carefully controlled movement of air. This is why Naen feels like an impossible place. It does not fight the desert with force. It subtracts exposure. It reduces heat. It directs wind. It stores water underground. It survives by making the outside world less powerful once you cross the threshold. Naen is also associated with traditional textile culture, especially woolen cloak weaving, known as ababafi. In workshops, the rhythm of weaving carries the same patience as qanat maintenance and mud brick repair. Thread, water, shade, and architecture all belong to the same rural discipline. Nothing is wasted, and everything must last. Traveling through Naen is a lesson in quiet endurance. There are no grand gestures. The mosque descends into coolness. The lanes bend against sun and wind. The houses turn inward. The town teaches through restraint. Naen shows that some communities survive not by becoming spectacular, but by becoming precise. Its secret is not hidden because it is lost. It is hidden because the desert taught people that the most valuable things are protected inside. Minab province. In southern Iran, where the heat of the Persian Gulf reshapes everything, Minab stands at the meeting point of desert, river, palm groves, and sea culture. This is Hormozgan province, a region very different from the highland villages of northern and central Iran. Here, the air is heavy, the sun is sharp, and life carries the rhythm of the Gulf. Houses, clothing, markets, food, and movement all respond to heat, humidity, and maritime contact. Minab is famous for its traditional market culture, especially the atmosphere of the local bazaar, where rural and coastal life come together. Women in colorful clothing and distinctive southern face coverings move through the market with baskets, textiles, spices, fish, dates, and handmade goods. Men from nearby villages bring produce, livestock, and tools. The market becomes not only a place of trade, but a weekly map of the region's social life. This is one of Iran's most culturally rich, impossible places because it does not fit the common image of rural Iran as only mountain or desert. Minab belongs to the tropical south. Palm trees rise above canals and fields. The sound of local dialects carries traces of long maritime exchange across the Persian Gulf and Indian Ocean world. In this climate, survival requires a different intelligence. Shade is not comfort, it is infrastructure. Loose clothing, covered faces, early morning labor, afternoon stillness, and evening markets are all responses to an environment that can become physically punishing during the day. The food also reflects the region. Fish, dates, tamarind, spices, flatbread, and dishes shaped by Gulf trade. Nothing here feels isolated from the sea, even when you are inland. The coast is present in the taste, language, clothing, and economy. In Iran, the secret village life of rural Iran. Minab reveals the southern face of the country, colorful, humid, coastal, and resilient. It reminds us that village life here was never one single story. It is a network of landscapes, from snowy mountains to hot shorelines, each teaching people a different way to endure.